Hello guys, welcome to Simply Vintage Watches. So, I'm on my way to the post office to pick up something really cool that's gonna pair with another package that I'm expecting later on this month. Ciao guys, see you later. So, I got the package guys. And while heading home, I decided to make a spontaneous video on the NIVADA GRENCHEN Depthmaster or Baby Panerai. I made a video a few months ago talking about how positive this reissue was going to be. It only cost a fraction of the price to a vintage example of a Baby Panerai watch, that being its Sandos or NIVADA GRENCHEN or whichever company or brand was on the dial of an original Baby Panerai case. We know the case is very historically significant. It was actually designed and made by C.R. Spillman, the man who purchased the original screw-down crown patent from Perregaux and Perret and then sold it to Hans Wilsdorf for the oyster case. C.R. Spillman is also the man who made the first Panerai radiomere cases as well. So the Baby Panerai has a great DNA in history when it comes to dive watches. Not to forget, they are the first dive watch to ever achieve 1,000 meters in depth with the Sandos on the dial for that variation in 1953. Now, was the Baby Panerai by NIVADA GRENCHEN, the Depthmaster, was it a success for the re-release? I have 2 points to mention on this matter. We have to remember that NIVADA is now in the hands of the Montrichard Holding Group. It's a very, very big watchmaking company. They're based in Hong Kong. They have other offices in China, one in Switzerland, one in New York, and one in the Philippines. So it's safe to say that the NIVADA GRENCHEN Depthmaster is at least 60% Swiss when it comes to production. That's why they put on the dial Swiss made. And the other 40% is most probably made in their factories in China, which is okay as well. But what about the details of the case? The new case measures 39 millimeters, and this is from the top of my head. The original case measured 38, so very connected with the original vintage design. Now, the issue I have with the new case is that since Montrichard is also in a joint venture with TCL, a telecommunication company, they also make smartwatches. And they decided to actually give the same case, the Baby Panerai case, to one of their smartwatches. And I think this is a downfall or a negative point for the new Baby Panerai because it's such a distinctive case. I would love to have seen it nothing but on the Baby Panerai watch, this new NIVADA GRENCHEN Depthmaster. Why give it to a smartwatch? So that is my first issue or point to mention. Secondly, I mentioned in my original video that I was gonna go for the Gros Chiffre variation, the one with the big numerals on the dial, which also was an original vintage variation of the NIVADA GRENCHEN Depthmaster. They not only had the Pac-Man, but also the Gros Chiffre. I was gonna go for the green sunburst dial, but notice if you compare an original green sunburst dial when it comes to the vintage example, look at the number 6, how crisp it is. It has straight lines on the edge in the beginning of the number 6 till the end. Notice the new 6 on the new dial variation. It mostly looks like a snail and it's rounded out, and it doesn't go attuned with the rest of the numerals on the dial. I wrote NIVADA about this issue. They did not answer. I actually think it's a quality control issue because it's not on par with the rest of the numerals, and once you see this, you cannot unsee it. So I will not be going for a new Baby Panerai or NIVADA GRENCHEN Depthmaster any longer. I would still think it would be a privilege to own a vintage example of the Pac-Man variation or Gros Chiffre, and maybe in the future, I'll actually get to own one. So that was it for today, guys. Thanks for tuning in on Simply Vintage Watches. Ciao.